Our practice today is something called an open awareness practice. And essentially what that means is that instead of doing what we often do, which is focusing on one thing in our practice, at the breath or the body, and then when we notice we've been distracted, we're coming back. With this type of practice, we'll start that way. We'll start with our body because it's a great way to get here right now, because often our mind's already wandered off. But then what we'll do is actually, as we notice sensations in the body or the sounds around us or thoughts in our head, we'll just noting in our mind, they're just sensations, just hearing and just thinking. And this is a practice that takes a bit of time to get the hang of. But even when we just practice it as a one-off like this, what you'll notice is that over time, instead of being distracted by thought about what the sensation is, like, oh, my left hip's sore again, oh, I wonder if I get that injury, blah blah blah, instead of that starting to kick in, it's just a sensation. It's just a sensation. And there's a big shift in terms of how we relate to the experiences we have, and we can let go of the reactivity, let go of the judging. And when we do that in a meditation practice, that starts to spill over into our actual eyes open life, which is where we need it most. So instead of, like for me over the weekend, I was able to be in a place of like just noticing what's happening rather than being caught up and judging what's happening. So if you haven't meditated before, we just essentially, there's only two instructions. The first is our posture is that we just need to be active but relaxed. So we don't want to be too relaxed, especially if we're doing this first thing in the morning. We don't be so relaxed that we're falling back asleep, not for this particular type of practice, because we do want to be aware. But we also don't want to be holding it a bit tight. And there's can be a tendency if we're trying to concentrate to be a bit rigid. So we're finding that middle space. And having your lower back supported is a good idea as well. And then the second instruction is around thinking, because if you're human, when you close your eyes, the chances are you're going to have some thoughts, and that's absolutely fine. What we're trying to do in this practice is not empty our mind of thoughts. And in fact, in this particular type of practice, having thoughts is useful because it's just something else to note, because whatever comes up is okay. So that's it. That's as technical as we need to be. So we'll just gently find ourselves in that comfortable position, allowing yourself to just close down your eyes, sit gently, or you can just keep your gaze soft if that's more comfortable for you. But just noticing yourself sitting in the space that you're in. And as we begin the process of turning inwards, away from what might already be starting to suck you into the day and into the week after a restful weekend, we just start with our what we can hear right now to just bring us into our senses. So just notice, as if you were throwing a net as far as you can, what you can hear right now. Maybe there's sounds in your room, sounds outside, maybe the sounds of the birds. And just notice what you can hear for now, and allowing your hearing to be the center of your attention. And noticing that there's sounds that maybe you hadn't noticed before. And that whilst something's in your awareness one minute, the next minute it's a different sound. And then we'll begin to turn further inwards to the sensations of our bodies. So we'll take our attention to the very tips of our fingers without moving the fingers. Just let your full focus rest there. Maybe there's a gentle tingling or vibration in the fingers as you pay attention. As your fingers prepare for movement and we pay attention, we can become aware of the gentle electrical pulse of that signal between the brain and the fingertips. And allow your awareness to extend to include your toes now. So your toes and your fingers are in your awareness. And if you get distracted, just come back. Now allowing your hands and your feet to be in your awareness. Feeling the weight of the hands on your lap. The feel of the floor underneath you or the bed under your feet. Maybe there's a heaviness or a lightness to the hands as you allow that awareness to travel up the legs. So you become aware of the whole of the lower leg to the knee. And then from the knee all the way along the thighs. And into the hips. As your legs are in your awareness, maybe they feel heavy or light. Just notice how do they feel today. And then as you feel from your hands traveling up the lower arms, up to the crook of the arm. And from there, traveling up to the shoulders. And coming back as the mind wanders. As we just build that connection to this moment right now. Noticing all the way across the chest and down into the belly. The shoulder blades, the lower back, your whole body in your awareness. Just noticing how that feels. Maybe noticing the jaw, the tongue in the mouth, the forehead, the whole body now in your awareness. Maybe there's a feeling of deeper relaxation that can just begin to emerge, or maybe you're aware of various sensations in the body, but just allowing yourself to be right here with exactly as it is. And we'll take a series of slow, deep breaths to bring our body into even more connection to that deeper relaxation state. So we're breathing in through the nose slowly, and if you can, making a slight whisper sound at the back of the throat. And then exhaling through the nose, really slowing it down. And putting your hand on your belly to help you take the breath all the way down so the belly rises underneath the hand. So inhaling, taking the breath all the way down to the hand on the belly. And then exhaling and noticing the hand falling away. Inhaling. And exhaling. Keeping your awareness on your hand as you breathe. Inhaling. Exhaling. And we'll just do two more. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then let your breath find its natural rhythm. And now instead of having one focus, we'll just open up the doors, allow the awareness to be completely open to whatever arises. So perhaps you become aware of sound. And if that's the case, we just gently note hearing. Hearing really softly in the mind. And if the sensation in the body becomes the most obvious thing to notice, then we just note sensation, 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 till the next thing takes its place. And maybe if there's thoughts, maybe even the thoughts about the sensations or the sounds, just note thinking. Thinking. And it doesn't matter how many times we need to label something. And we don't need to label and note every sensation or sound, just whatever is the most obvious at any moment. Whatever the spotlight of your awareness is on. Just hearing, sensation, thinking, softly and gently. And we'll take a few minutes to just allow that process. So just whatever you experience, just softly noting, no judgment or effort. Sensation, hearing, thinking. I'm letting go of that noting in the mind now, coming back to your breath. And whatever your experience of that process, it's just a practice that can develop and grow. Each time we can note without judgment, we gradually unhook ourselves from that judgment in the way we experience our lives. So just come back to noticing the quality of the breath entering the body rising and falling. The body's just breathing, and you're just watching. No need to do anything or take control. Just notice whether the breath is smooth, whether there's some tension in the breath. Seeing if you can just allow it to flow in and out all the way down to the belly without force or effort. And we'll finish with 2 slow deep breaths. So breathing in through the nose, really opening up the chest, and then sighing out through the mouth. Feeling the whole chest full, and then breathing in again through the nose, and then sighing out through the mouth. Gently returning movement really slowly to the fingers and the toes. Gently moving the hands and the wrists, the ankles, allowing that movement to creep up the arms, the torso, just gently With your eyes closed, just taking whatever movement feels good in your body. Imagining that you're just moving on anything that doesn't need to be there, anything that's got stuck, just gently shifting and moving. And then whenever you're ready, just gently blinking open the eyes.